Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So we have officially seen Giannis Antetokounmpo request a trade. It's something that's just been kind of looming the whole season, and people have been kind of debating: is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it? And over the last couple weeks, seeing the Milwaukee Bucks get blown out multiple times and kind of reaching its headway, oddly enough, with the team that you wouldn't really expect, the Oklahoma City Thunder blowing them out, is where it really kind of reached the boiling point for Giannis. And he kind of just, pretty much said everything he could say beyond, I want to be traded. He called his teammates, he said that it's because they're young. He said that people are just acting selfishly. He said that they kind of just need to swing the rock, more or less, without saying it. So it's been very interesting to see. And finally, today, he requested a trade. But we aren't going to talk about Giannis requesting a trade because there's actually another person that requested a trade that's more important. Dalton Connect of the Los Angeles Lakers. No, I'm just joking. We're actually going to be talking about Giannis. So I wanted to hop over into the trade machine, and I wanted to do a couple Giannis trades and see if we could maybe piece something together that looks right. So there's three teams that have been linked to Giannis that want to grab him. So we're going to start with the first of those three teams, which is the Warriors. So what realistically could the Warriors do as far as a trade goes to get Giannis Antetokounmpo? So we're going to add them just getting Giannis and them getting Thanasis and them getting Alex, because that's what's going to happen. They're whatever team decides to acquire Giannis is unfortunate or maybe fortunate, depending on the team, going to have to acquire his two brothers that are also on the Milwaukee Bucks currently. So it's going to be a 3 for whatever the other team is able to provide. So what I believe we're going to be looking at, if the Warriors go after Giannis, obviously you're going to have to throw in Jimmy just to make the money work. And, realistically, I mean, dollar for dollar, they have kind of the same contract. Jimmy has 54 million, 100,000, 26, and $450 this year. Next year it goes up. Giannis has that same amount this year, and then the next 2 years is more. Thanasis is going to have more money, so the Warriors are going to have to add in some more people here. I would most likely assume that they would want to send out somebody like Pods. Just makes sense. They don't really care about Pods. He's not really going to be great for them ever. It's become, dangerously clear. For some reason, they always seem to keep perpetuating that the future for Golden State is going to include Brandon Pajemski. It's just not. So I'm not sure why they're doing that. But in order for the Bucks to want to just take these two people, they're going to have to send some picks. So let's see what we're going to send from the Warriors here. They're definitely going to have to give up that 2026 or that 2027. I am personally saying that they're probably going to end up sending a top 4 protected 2026. Because Jimmy's hurt. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're also getting two other players that probably won't realistically play for your team. They're just going to be bench. So yeah, that's going to happen. The other picks that I'm debating, or not debating, I'm assuming will be sent in this trade are probably going to be a 2028 round one, honestly. And we're going to say that it's top 4 protected again. Yet again, this is Giannis we're talking about. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit iffy. Is it going to be 3 picks? Is it going to be 3 round 1 picks? Personally, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and they're going to send a 2030. and it'll probably be something like top 8 protected. Um, or let's just do it as a regular, because it's so far ahead. You know, there's no telling. Um, and then they're gonna probably have to add one more player to this. Is that correct? For them to, I think it's just gonna go through. I would assume they'd have to add one more player in order for um, the team's roster spaces to work out correctly. I guess not, though. Um, so it honestly could just work with this right here. But this is not a great return for the Bucks. I mean, Jimmy Butler, once he's healthy, next year would be great. So I'm honestly, if I'm the Bucks, probably gonna at least want somebody like, let's say GP added into this. And that makes it where Milwaukee must waive one player. So they'd probably end up waiving pods if they were to do it this way. That, or instead of waiving pods, they'd keep him, see if they could maybe develop him, and then they'd send out GP2, maybe to like a third team we could add into this. But we're not going to go that far with it. The Warriors, I'm going to say, have the least likely chance of getting him. They've got the assets for like picks, but it'd be really stupid to do that. Giannis is great, and Giannis, when healthy, is great, really, really great. Like, he will be the new star of your team, especially once Steph Curry's gone. But he's not the most healthy person in the world, so that's where I sit with it. But to each their own. I mean, I'm sure Warriors fans are down to get Giannis. We're gonna go for our second team here that has been linked to Giannis, and that is, of course, going to be the New York Knicks. Giannis, over the summer, was reported to actually want to go to the Knicks. He actually has said that he was requesting to be traded there. I don't know if that's necessarily true, because he himself has said that he's never requested to be traded. Obviously up until now, where he has requested. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to set up again. They're getting Giannis, and they're getting his brothers. And then we're going to go for the New York Knicks and what they're sending. They're obviously going to want to get Cat out of there. So that's going to be what this trade is built upon. And the money's already kind of close, just with Cat in. New York is hard capped over the first apron by 15 mil. They're also probably going to want to send Yabusele, and that makes the trade successful. Now they're also going to have to send picks. Like, any way that this trade is done, there's not going to be like a 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 or 4 for 1. There's going to have to be picks, and there's going to at least have to be like 1 first round for this to actually work out for Giannis. So they've got 2 round 1 picks in 2026. They're definitely going to have to send that. And then I'm going to say for this trade, the only other thing they're going to have to send is either the 2028 or the 2030 first round pick, or multiple seconds, like a lot of seconds. But I would personally say that the way that Milwaukee gets this, or lets this happen, is that they're probably going to want them to give up that 28 and make it top 4 protected. That's the only way that Milwaukee's going to let this go for at least 2. They'd probably try to work it for 3 and get either a 2030 or a 2032. Or, the third picks would just be multiple second round picks that they could then go use to get more people. And there's another way that you could run this trade instead of doing Cat. If you wanted to keep Cat and then run him at center and then keep Giannis at power forward, instead you could get rid of OG. You get rid of OG, and you could get rid of let's say Gershon again. Yabusele. And then mm, let's go with somebody like, I don't know. No, that's not really working out. They're gonna have to. I wanted to do it without having to go with Mikal Bridges, but I think they'd have to send him out. And of course, he has a trade restriction until uh February 1st. So that's going to make the deal even more hard to do if it were those two players. So that's what I think personally is it's going to end up being Cat if this trade happens for the Knicks. And then we go off to our third team. Our third team is also in the Eastern Conference, just like the Knicks are, and it's going to be the Miami Heat. So a lot of people think that the Miami Heat are going to go out and get Giannis. They want to have this front court duo of Giannis and Bam Adebayo that a lot of people think would just be absurdly great. I could see it working out very well, but Bam has also had a lot of inconsistency issues. And me personally, I think trying to make like a front court duo as the headline for your team is kind of a little bit of a shooting yourself in the foot type of situation with the current NBA and how centers and power forwards work. They're just very injury prone these days. And you're going to end up with a lot of injuries. I mean, Bam does have his fair share of getting injured. He usually is not one to be injured for a long time. But, Giannis, he's over the last couple of years, like people don't talk about it enough, but he gets injured quite frequently. Anyways, let's get on to it. They're going to send away Tyler Hero for sure. I think they would send somebody like Norman Powell as well. And, a lot of people love Norman Powell, and the Heat, Heat culture already loves Norman Powell, and he's a great player to have, but he is an expiring contract, and we're talking about Giannis. So they could possibly get rid of him. And then, honestly, I would love to see a third team get involved with the Warriors. And instead of getting Giannis, they get Andrew Wiggins back, because that has been something that has been talked about here. And you can maybe get in some picks and stuff that way. Honestly, though, I could see that just being its own trade, because it'd be Wiggins for Kuminga, basically, straight up. But we'll talk about that another time, maybe. Let's get over to this side. Let's pull in Giannis. Let's see how this trade works. Okay. So yeah, it literally works just like that. And of course, you'd have to add in your picks. This would send Miami into the first apron hard capped after this, and then this would make the Bucks under the first apron acquiring these two. And of course, yeah, Norman Powell's that expiring contract. They could either extend him if he, plays just as well as he has, which is very appealing. It's a player that has been kind of a breakout in his later years. He hasn't been injured much. He's brought teams to very high floors and extended their ceilings in the last couple years. The Clippers last year and now today with the Heat. Obviously, most people didn't think the Heat was going to do anything that they've been able to do this year, but they've been pretty good. I mean, they're like a 500 team, right? I think so. Anyways, he's a great player to have, especially for an expiring. If he doesn't work out for the rest of the year, then he can go somewhere else. You can trade him somewhere else. And if he does work out, extend him. And you've got a great shooting guard to pair alongside Ryan Rollins, who's been a pretty decent point guard. And you're also getting Tyler Hero, who is another shooting guard. So like I was saying, if Norman Powell is not really great, Tyler Hero can at least be decent for you. So you kind of get the situation of one or the other here, which would be really good. It's kind of a good problem to have. If they didn't want to do Norman Powell, they could take him off and you could ship somebody off, like say Terry Rozier. I mean, that gets you a point guard, but he's currently in jail. And honestly, I don't think that the Bucks would really like him even when he's back. Or you could pick up a small forward like Andrew Wiggins. He could possibly end up being a power forward, just a smaller one if you wanted to run that way, but you would have to see. But that's going to be all three of the teams that could possibly trade for Giannis. And obviously, they're going to get a buttload of picks back, however they do it. I will see you guys in the next video, though. Bye.